think, you know, not make sense. I fought with Ilia for what? Not belt, nothing, you know. Money, I have money, I don't need money.
I really believe that I can beat the current champion, Islam.
There's all these opponents, they all say they want to finish me in the first or second round. I already said, if you can make 155, you can get into the cage. Let's talk about it then.
It's not going to be Ilia Topuria. In fact, I'm told it is going to be Justin Gaethje.
As the rumors started to build about an Islam versus Topuria fight at UFC 317, Islam Makhachev has ruled out the hopes of fighting Ilia Topuria as he doesn't think this fight makes any sense. Recently, Ilia Topuria shared a tweet on his X account saying that he has started his training session, and according to Spanish reporters, Ilia was confirmed to fight at UFC 317 for a title fight. The camp has begun. The UFC legend Michael Bisping reacts to Ilia Topuria starting his training camp, pointing out that his name is everywhere across the internet. He sees this as a clear sign the buildup has begun. While Bisping gives the wrestling edge to Islam Makhachev, he favors Topuria in the boxing department. He notes that Islam has sharp kicks, as Volkanovski can attest, but Topuria's heavy lead leg stance could be a weakness. Bisping expects Makhachev to target that leg with calf kicks and use them to control range. With Topuria being shorter, he also sees Islam mixing in head kicks. He believes this fight would pull huge numbers and is one the fans definitely want to see.
Well, we know one thing, camp has begun. All you gotta do is Google the name Ilia Topuria. It's all over the internet, it's all over Twitter, it's everywhere. Camp has begun. But I think Islam's wrestling is probably a little bit better. But if we just say that, if you look at the striking styles, Ilia Topuria, I favor him as the boxer. Islam Makhachev, he's got some nice little kicks, just as Alexander Volkanovski, right? But the problem is with Ilia Topuria, with that boxing style, he's very, very heavy on that lead leg. So you're going to look for Islam Makhachev to chip away with calf kicks, try and keep him at bay with Ilia being the shorter guy, then bring the kicks to Topuria versus Islam Makhachev. That would do huge numbers, and we all want to see it.
On the other hand, Chael Sonnen rejected such claims from Topuria and revealed that an Islam versus Topuria fight is unlikely to happen next. Sonnen further said that according to what he's been told, Justin Gaethje is expected to be Islam's next opponent. With Gaethje, Islam, Poirier, and Max Holloway off the table, Sonnen explored potential matchups for Topuria. He listed Charles Oliveira, Arman Tsarukyan, and Paddy Pimblett as possible opponents, asking who makes the most sense for Topuria now that the top-tier names are unavailable.
It's not going to be Ilia Topuria. In fact, I'm told it is going to be Justin Gaethje. But the next best thing, if it's not Ilia Topuria, who would Ilia Topuria face? You got Charles, you got Tsarukyan, you got Paddy the Baddy. Who would you put with Ilia Topuria? But those are your options. Gaethje, Islam, off the board. Poirier, Max, off the board. Third time.
Islam Makhachev has also said that he wants to move up and is not interested in fighting any featherweight. Islam expressed frustration with fighters from lower weight classes challenging him. He said beating Ilia Topuria won't give him any benefit, just like the Volkanovski fight. So Islam wants to build his legacy by becoming a two-division champion.
You be a bit small guy,
Yeah.
He's not your weight division. If I beat Topuria, it's gonna be same.
The same thing.
Everybody gonna talk same. But if I
Go up.
go up, takes a second belt,
Mm-hmm.
this is a legacy.
Yeah.
I want to be like you know?
Islam Makhachev always wanted to move up to the welterweight division, but he honestly admitted that Belal Muhammad kind of disrupted his plans. He explained that they became close friends and shared the same manager, which made things more complicated. Despite that, Makhachev said that nobody can predict the future and that they both share the same dream, as he also wants to become a double champion.
We become like close friend, we have same manager, we can talk, But rules, because I have opponent,
Yeah.
if I
Go up.
go up, takes a second belt,
Mm-hmm.
this is a legacy.
Yeah.
I want to be like you Champ, how many? 11 times defend your belt.
You're on your way, man. You're on your way. Like I said, there's nothing. Like I said, I think what you're doing now, one defeat. You got finishes. You got great
I
fights.
agree. If I have some real contender after Arman,
Yep.
I'm not looking behind him.
Yeah.
But if I have some real contender,
It's you
I
kind
will
of
defend my belt.
Yeah, I mean, the fight with that's the thing that when you fought Charles Oliveira, I told people, I was like, here's the difference. Charles is good because he just fights.
Yeah.
But he also exposes his chin a lot and he gets dropped.
On the side, the welterweight champion Belal Muhammad also thinks the same, as he doesn't want to fight his friend Islam. Belal Muhammad stated he wouldn't fight Islam Makhachev due to the strong respect and loyalty he has toward him and their team. He mentioned several potential opponents for Islam, including Justin Gaethje, who is coming off a big win, Paddy Pimblett, who gained attention with his victory over Michael Chandler, and Charles Oliveira and Arman Tsarukyan, who are both waiting for rematches.
They've done so much for me. They helped me so much that it wouldn't be worth it for me to fight those guys. There's just way too much respect and loyalty on my end. But I think people are just like wondering, and they're just hoping for him to fight. They're looking for any excuses for him, right? Like there's guys right now in that division that make sense. Like Justin Gaethje makes sense. He's coming off a big win. He's 3-1 in his last 4 fights. People are going to tune into Justin Gaethje. He hasn't fought Justin Gaethje yet. You got Paddy Pimblett, who just came off a huge finish of Michael Chandler. Like, he has a big name. That's another fight that makes sense. You got Charles Oliveira waiting for a rematch, Arman waiting for a rematch. There's plenty of guys.
Belal Muhammad thinks Ilia Topuria needs to fight someone else before getting a title shot against Islam Makhachev, as it wouldn't be worth it for Islam to fight another former featherweight. He believes no matter what Islam does, people will criticize him and his team. For Islam, the respect will come only after he beats them, so Muhammad suggests letting Topuria earn a win first to make the fight more meaningful.
I think that Ilia definitely needs to fight somebody before he gets that title shot, because it's not really worth it for Islam to fight another 45er or give another 45er a chance, because people are, no matter what they do, people are gonna hate on Islam, hate on Team Khabib, no matter what happens. So for him, it's like, you guys are gonna give me the respect that I deserve anyway if I beat him, so let him get a win first, and then it'll be worth it for me.
Belal Muhammad further believes Ilia Topuria isn't the toughest challenge for Islam Makhachev, predicting Islam would finish him by the 2nd round. He sees Islam dominating most fighters in the division, acknowledging Gaethje's knockout power. Muhammad also pointed out that Arman Tsarukyan's close first fight with Islam was affected by an injury. He urged the UFC to step in, as many fighters like Oliveira, Tsarukyan, and Poirier are refusing to fight unless it's for a title.
But how do you think that fight would go, Islam and Ilia? Do you think Ilia is the toughest challenge for him in that division right now, by the way?
No, I think he would finish Topuria probably like by the 2nd round. I think in the division, stylistically, I honestly see Islam just like dominating all these guys. Obviously, Justin always has that knockout chance. He always has that power. And then Arman, that first fight was so good, so close, but coming off that injury the day before the fight, it sucks because he has to get another fight, and nobody really wants to fight him right now. But yeah, you got a lot of these guys in the division are saying, I'm not fighting nobody unless for the title. Like Charles said it, Arman said it, now Topuria saying it. So like the UFC just needs to put their foot down and tell these guys, yo, you fight you, shut up.
Luke Thomas questioned what would do more for Islam Makhachev's legacy, fighting Ilia Topuria next or waiting. He acknowledged that a win over Topuria would definitely add to Islam's legacy, no doubt about it. However, he emphasized that Topuria is a real threat and not an easy opponent by any means. While Volkanovski was also a tough challenge, Thomas noted that Topuria presents a different kind of danger compared to Volk, making the potential matchup even more compelling.
What's going to do more for Islam's legacy if he fought Topuria next? And you might say, well, if he beats Topuria, that would add a lot to his legacy. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. No question about it. But one, Topuria is a real threat. Topuria is a real threat. And by no means a fucking walk in the park. Neither was Volk, certainly, but you know, Topuria is a different kind of threat than Volk.
Luke Thomas described Ilia Topuria as a bolt of lightning, saying he's incredibly tough to deal with, even if Islam Makhachev beats him. Thomas noted there's a frustrating but persistent narrative that Islam only beats former featherweights, Volkanovski, Moicano, and Poirier, all guys who moved up from 145. So while a win over Topuria would be significant, it might not fully move the needle in terms of legacy due to that perception. By contrast, Thomas argued that fighting someone like Jack Della Maddalena at 170 could do more for Islam's reputation, and even a loss there wouldn't be as damaging since he'd still retain his lightweight title.
Topuria is a bolt of lightning. I mean, it's tough to deal with him. And even if you beat him, you know, there's this stupid narrative that follows him, but it's a real one in the sense that it exists. Namely, oh, all he does is beat 45ers, not just Volk, but, you know, Moicano comes up. He's a former 45er, and, you know, you'll go on down the list. It's just a Poirier, former 45er. You know, it's just, so it's like yet another 45er who moved up. And I think that doesn't meaningfully move the needle for him. By contrast, if he was able to fight Jack Della Maddalena at 170, even if he loses, it's not as disastrous as a loss to Topuria, in part because he would still keep his title.
Daniel Cormier questioned whether Islam Makhachev should fight Ilia Topuria next, suggesting that even if Islam wins, critics will try to downplay it. He explained that people might say Islam only beat featherweights like Volkanovski and Topuria and other opponents, like Charles Oliveira or Dariush, who came in on short notice or were lower ranked. Cormier emphasized that no matter how dominant a champion is, there will always be efforts to discredit them. In his view, Islam is the best fighter in the world, and that should be respected, regardless of the narratives people try to create.
It's a mess.
Meanwhile, Ilia Topuria believes that Islam Makhachev is afraid to fight him, and that's why he is moving up and doesn't want to fight him. Topuria had great confidence that he would easily beat Islam and said the Dagestani fighter is afraid to lose his belt against him.
Hemos podido ver es primero que Makhachev no se abre del todo a pelear contigo, quizás porque tenga algún tipo de...
¿Tiene miedo? Claro que tiene miedo, por supuesto. Es como, siempre es una pelea fácil hasta que te ponen el nombre en el contrato, ¿no? Así que todos lo sabemos. Si fuera tan fácil y si fuera tan enano como él dice, ya compartiría el octógono conmigo, ¿no? Por algo no quiere. Yo lo entiendo, así que está bien.
However, UFC legends Daniel Cormier and Chael Sonnen refused to admit that Islam Makhachev is afraid to fight Ilia Topuria. Cormier praised Islam as the lightweight champion, one of the greatest ever, and the top pound-for-pound fighter in the world. He addressed rumors that Islam turned down a fight with Topuria, possibly believing Ilia hasn't earned it yet. Sonnen dismissed the rumors as fake news and an insult to both men. He pointed out that Islam has never backed down from a challenge, referencing his short-notice fight against Renato Moicano as proof of his willingness to fight anyone, anytime.
Islam Makhachev, the lightweight champion of the world, one of the greatest fighters of all time, and the number one pound fighter in the world. Rumors are coming out that he said no to a fight with Ilia Topuria. They feel he needs to do something first. What do you make of that when you first hear it? Like, he doesn't want to fight Topuria just yet, at least.
My first sense is that's fake news. And it's a real insult to to Islam. I don't believe that Islam's scared to fight anybody. I think the evidence of that fact would be the fact that he switched opponents, took on Money Moicano with no training camp, no preparation, just because it's the right thing to do.
Joe Rogan also warned Ilia Topuria about the size of Islam Makhachev. He pointed out that Islam Makhachev is a massive guy and questioned how he even makes the 155-pound lightweight limit. Every time Rogan stands next to Islam, he can't believe he's in that weight class, estimating that Islam probably walks around at 190 pounds. Topuria was also amazed to know the size of Islam.
Like Islam Makhachev is huge. I mean, that guy, how he makes 155 is, I don't understand it. Every time I stand next to him, like, how are you 155?
How much do you think he walks around?
He's got to be 190-ish, in the 190 range. He's got to be. That's what he looks like to me.
I never saw him in a person.
Yeah, he's thick. He's thick and big. I mean, he's not he's not a 155-pound man.
The featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski also talked about this matchup and focused on whether Ilia Topuria can land a clean shot on Islam Makhachev, believing it's definitely possible. He highlighted Topuria's confidence in his boxing and his determination to eventually find the opponent's chin. Even when things aren't going smoothly, Topuria stays committed and keeps pressing forward. Volkanovski pointed out that Islam is a tough and defensive fighter who will likely approach the fight cautiously, knowing the danger Topuria brings with his power.
Can Ilia catch him? You know, that's what it is, and he definitely can. Ilia's very, especially with his approach, he really backs his strike and his boxing. He really knows that he will eventually find the chin, and he's stoic till that happens. You know what I mean? He is on task, and he doesn't, you know what I mean? He'll go, even if things aren't working, he's still going to try and find it. So I think Islam's going to be a tough matchup for him, because Islam can be quite defensive and safe. I think he's going to know he needs to play it safe with Ilia, because he knows Ilia is going to have that puncher's chance. But I just think them later rounds, is going to be very difficult for Ilia.
Volkanovski acknowledged that if Ilia Topuria puts his hands on anyone and traps them in the wrong spot, it could be game over. He believes Topuria has the power to knock out anyone, even in the lightweight division. However, based on what he's seen, Volkanovski thinks that landing a big shot might be Topuria's only real path to victory against someone like Islam Makhachev.
Ilia can, if he puts hands on anyone, like if he traps them, gets them where they don't want to be and lands a nice big shot, it's going to be game over. He can knock out anyone, even in the lightweight division. But yeah, I just believe that probably would be his only chance.
Aaron Pico is also excited about a potential fight between Islam and Topuria. He said it's good for the sport, and fans really want to see a fight between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev. He noted that everyone has their own style, and Topuria sticks to what works for him, but he believes Islam might be too much for him. Pico, as a fan, still would have loved to see the matchup. Kamaru Usman added that Topuria looked like a real champion. He made promises and delivered, but then suddenly vacated the title. Usman found that strange, especially since he had seen holes in Topuria's game earlier.
That's what a champion essentially is supposed to look like. Make the calls, go out there, deliver on the calls, then all of a sudden vacates the title. I mean, how do you feel? Because you said earlier, like, you were looking at him and going, there's holes here.
I think it's good for the sport, to be honest with you. I mean, him and Islam, people really want to see that. Everybody has their own style, and it seems like his style is just doing what he did. Honestly, I believe Islam is just a little too much for him, but I'm also a fan, so I would have loved to see that.
Max Holloway believes it's hard to go against Islam Makhachev. He pointed out that Islam's fighting style is tough to deal with, combining strong wrestling with solid striking. Now that Makhachev is getting more confident and falling in love with his striking, Holloway believes it's even harder to be consistent against someone like him.
Prediction, potentially if they did fight, Ilia versus Makhachev, what would you think? Who would win?
I mean, bro, it's hard to go against Islam. It's hard to go against him. His fighting style is a tough one. He likes wrestling. He likes striking. Now he's falling in love with his striking. So, I mean, it's hard to bet against Islam.
Dominic Cruz also gave credit to Ilia Topuria for vacating his title and moving straight into the lightweight division, calling it a bold and confident move. He believes Topuria does have the tools to beat Islam Makhachev. According to Cruz, the key is keeping the fight on the feet, controlling the range, and keeping Makhachev on his heels. When a wrestler is forced backward, it becomes much harder for them to time their takedowns.
And you got to tip your hat to Ilia too. He vacated the title to drop into, not just at the top of the division, but just drop into the lightweight division. It's a lot of confidence, and it takes a lot of balls.
Well, do you think he has the tools to beat Islam?
Of course he does. Yeah, he has the tools. It's keep it on the feet, dictate the range, and keep Makhachev on his heels. You keep a wrestler on his heels, it's hard for them to time the shot.
As the debate heats up, one thing is clear. This potential clash between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria has everyone talking. But the question remains the same. Will Islam chase double champ status at welterweight? Or will Topuria force his way into the title conversation with sheer confidence and power? Only time will tell. Until then, fans are left waiting, hoping and debating, because in MMA, anything can happen.